Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Yesterday, the New York Times released a poll by Siena College showing presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden ahead of Republican President Donald Trump by 14 points, his largest lead of the campaign. Today, the Times released Siena's poll of registered voters in 6 battleground states, and it's even more bad news for the president. Siena polled registered voters in 6 swing states President Trump won, 4 of them by the slimmest of margins, in 2016 over Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton, and shows Biden ahead in all 6. The margins on all 6 vary, but each is outside the poll's margin of error, meaning Biden is definitely ahead in all 6 and closing in on the majority in all of them. The worst of the 6 are Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, 3 states he won by less than 1% 4 years ago. He now trails in all 3 by double digits in this poll, with Biden leads of 11, 11, and 10 respectively. The other 3, Florida, Arizona, and Pennsylvania, were won by Trump in 2016 by larger margins than the previous 3 states, but the news isn't much better. He trails now in all 3 by anywhere from 6% to 9%. The worst news of the 6 states is probably Michigan, because on top of the double-digit lead for Biden, the poll also asked respondents about how the president has treated their state. And the Michigan respondents kind of blew a gasket. Michigan has been hit hard during the quarantine on both the health and social fronts as the state became the epicenter of anti-lockdown protests. President Trump voiced his support for them and vocally blasted Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer on Twitter. In spite of these protests, the poll suggests the voters of Michigan have her back, expressing extreme displeasure with how the president has treated their state. It was honestly a questionable move considering how important the state is to Trump's re-election chances, and it seems the chickens have now come home to roost in the form of really bad poll numbers. When you look at the demographic breakdown of the poll results, it does show the president leading with men, whites without college degrees, whites overall, and voters 45 to 64. That said, Trump has lost ground with all demographics, including an 8% dip in his support with whites without college degrees, a group well acknowledged as the primary part of President Trump's base. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Biden is no more than 3 percentage points away from 50% in each of the 6 polls. The reason that's important is once your opponent crosses 50%, undecideds can't save you anymore, and you have to find a way to chip at their support. And Joe Biden is not Hillary Clinton, making that a much more difficult task. In all 6, undecideds are still in double digits. But as the campaign goes on, that's not a good thing, because historically, undecideds break for the non-incumbent by a rate of 4 to 1. When your opponent is already near 50%, that's not a good spot to be in. Even now, historically, that rate is more around 50-50 at this point in the campaign, but that's still not enough. Biden is ahead, and head big right now. That cannot be disputed. The polls, even from conservative-leaning pollsters, are starting to indicate a blowout if the election were held today. The president's campaign, however, can take solace in knowing the election is not going to be held now. The poll also shows the economy is still a strong topic for him, so expect a lot of talk about that. But it's also the only strong topic for him, which explains his focus on reopening the economy while the nation is still in a health crisis. It should be noted that 4 months is a long way away, and between now and Election Day, there are conventions, debates, and news to fill the time, all of which could positively or negatively affect the campaign for either candidate. That said, the plenty of time until Election Day argument is going to lose its potency if these numbers continue. While then-candidate George Bush did overcome a 17-point deficit later in the 1988 campaign than we're at right now, he had a popular president's coattails to ride on. Trump does not, and the longer it takes for him to reverse these numbers, the more likely it is that Joe Biden will become the 46th president of the United States. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button, and for daily updates and projections on the 2020 campaign, as well as simulations of this and other historical elections, please subscribe and hit the bell icon for new video alerts. Thanks for watching.